coaxial drivers with a well-tuned sound, multipoint use and LDAC support. Based on these specs, you might think that the Soundpeats Engine 4 buds come in at or above the $100 price point, but in fact, these earbuds offer all these features for only $60. So let's see what else is there. Hi everyone, my name is Andy and you're watching Andy's Tech Tone. Quick disclaimer, I got the Soundpeats buds from the manufacturer for testing, but no money exchanged hands and I'm completely free to say whatever I want about their product. Now, let's talk about the design first. Considering their price tag, the Engine 4 buds feel very well put together. It's an all-plastic design and maybe a touch more of a glossy coating was used than what I feel comfortable with, but the buds look good nonetheless. The textured sides give you a good grip on the buds, while that grey matte rubbery plastic coating on the inside helps with the grip in your ears. The Engine 4 buds weigh in at around 6.5 grams each, and they stick out quite a bit from your ears, which is no good news for those who like sleeping with their earbuds in. And the buds also go deep into your ear canals. Actually, they sit so deep in my ears that regardless of which of the 3 silicone ear tips I put on, I feel like I tap on my own eardrums when I use the touch controls. And that doesn't help the long-term comfort one bit. So comfort might be a touch less than ideal in my case, but the deep-sitting nature of the buds offers its benefits too. First, I got an excellent passive noise isolation, which considering the lack of active noise cancelling, can come in handy at times. Second, the fit is so tight and secure that the Engine 4s won't even budge, so basic workouts or running shouldn't be a problem. Especially with the IPX4 rating in mind, which makes the earbuds sweat and splash proof. Onto the battery case, well, it's even more flashy and glossy than the earbuds themselves, and it's not only a nightmare to film due to all the reflections, but it also collects fingerprints like crazy. But shininess aside, the case is relatively compact and the lid has a properly dampened but springy hinge. It opens and closes firmly with no flapping action. At the bottom of the case there is a USB-C charging port, which is the only option to juice up the case as we get no wireless charging. This is where the $60 price tag first shows its limits, as certain corners had to be cut in order to keep the costs down. But the low-budget approach does not hinder the battery life at all, as the buds can last up to 12.5 hours on a single charge, according to the manufacturer. And while I did not do such long tests to confirm the data myself, my experience tells me that the playtime is indeed much longer than average. True, it's with the SBC codec at 60% volume and there is no ANC to eat into the battery life either, but it's a respectable performance nonetheless. Using the LDAC codec will reduce the single charge use time to around 7 or 8 hours, but again, considering what the competitors can do, this is a great result. The total playtime can be up to 43 hours with the battery case, which is again an excellent performance. Next, let's talk about connection, because that's the area where you probably get the biggest bang for your buck. If I say Bluetooth 5.3, you might say, meh, who cares? If I say AAC, SBC or monomode support, you might think that there is nothing to see here, move on. But if I say that you get LDAC support and multipoint connection with these $60 earbuds, then I get your undivided attention. Or don't I? Well, whatever the case, the Soundpeats Engine 4 indeed comes with the high-resolution LDAC codec on board, and the earbuds can also be connected to 2 devices at the same time. So that's all great, but there is a catch. LDAC gets disabled if you activate multipoint by flicking the switch in the app. So these 2 key features cannot be used together at the same time. And while multipoint works well in all scenarios and it's platform agnostic, switching between 2 devices can take up to 4 or even 6 or 8 seconds in some cases. In general, I found the pairing process easy with both Android and iOS devices. I have not experienced any major connection issues, not even in multi-device connection mode. Lip sync is good when watching movies and videos, and if you find yourself in need of low latency, then by enabling game mode, you can cut down on the lag quite significantly too. To do that, you have to either tap the left button 3 times, or you can go in the app and toggle the game mode switch there. And while we get some neat connection related features, I'm not quite sure if phone call quality is up there with the best, but you will be the judge of that after listening to these audio samples. So this is the voice transmission quality you can get from the built-in microphones on the Soundpeats Engine 4 in a quiet room. Maybe it wasn't the best start, so let's give it another go. I'm not quite sure if the slight breeze or the tiniest bit of traffic in the background will have one fit, but this is the audio quality you can get from the Soundpeats Engine 4 nonetheless. Onto the controls, we get a touch-sensitive interface on each bud, which can control play, pause, tracks, volume, phone calls, your voice assistant, and as I mentioned before, you can also turn game mode on and off. There is nothing missing as far as functionality is concerned, and the side panels register touches more or less accurately. It's not 100% as it's only around 80 or 90% accurate, but the controls can get the job done with prompt reaction times. The Engine 4s come without smart sensors, so we don't get automatic play and pause when we take the buds in and out of our ears. But we get a smartphone app for both Android and iOS. One thing that doesn't make sense though is the fact that Soundpeats forces you to register your email if you want to use the app, but as long as you are okay with that, you get some settings and features for your troubles. We talked about the game mode and the dual device connection toggles already, but on top of these, we get two more switches, one to disable the touch controls and another one for enabling the adaptive EQ. Using this adaptive EQ, you can run some hearing tests and then the algorithm creates a custom frequency response curve for you based on the test results. I would love if there was a chance to tweak that curve, but this is not an option. And also, neither of the EQ presets, which there is a few of, can be modified manually. But if you want to dial in the sound to your taste, you can find the 10-band equalizer in the app to play with. In short, while the app is not heavily packed with all sorts of features, and the email registering seems a bit unnecessary too, at least you get a comprehensive set of sound tuning options. And that takes us to the sound quality, which besides multipoint and LDAC, is one of the key selling points of the Soundpeats buds in my opinion. So with the Engine 4, we get a two-way design, which usually means a larger dynamic driver for the bass and a tiny balanced armature driver for the highs. But in this case, we actually get two dynamic drivers in a coaxial setup, which is quite unusual, especially at this price point. And as a result, the sound we get is unusually excellent too. The frequency response is pretty balanced across the whole range. Maybe there is a slight roll-off at the top, everything is smooth, which means that there is no sign of any harshness in the highs. I personally like this laid-back and relaxed sound, and I don't think that there is anything missing there in terms of details, but there always be some people who want a bit more bite and extension up top. And also some others might need a touch more kick in the sub-bass, but the bottom octaves sound pretty well tuned and controlled to me. We get a tight but powerful punch, and the bass does not bleed too much into the lower mids, causing all sorts of issues. Partly thanks to that, the mid-range sounds natural, with vocals being just forward enough and anchored to the center spot on the stage. Everyone gets enough room to breathe in that critical range, and nothing gets overpowered by a boosted bass, and I love this sort of a tuning big time. Instruments have an airy quality with a natural timbre, and they come through with plenty detail in their sound. The soundstage is spacious and feels well stretched out in all directions, and we also get some pinpoint imaging with an excellent separation between instruments, which are traits that can be associated with most coaxial designs. Volume can reach insane levels, so I would never go above, let's say, 70 or 75% to prevent hearing loss in the long run. All in all, I'm not sure if I have heard a more satisfying and enjoyable sound for around $60 before. And that should be more than enough in this price range. I mean, the list of features is rather short, as we get no active noise cancelling, no wireless charging or customizable touch controls. But the build quality is great, the app comes with some useful options and settings, the touch controls offer a full range of functions, and the battery life is way better than average. Plus, there is the class-leading sound, which in itself should put the Soundpeats Engine for buds on the top shelf in its category. And I have not even mentioned the LDAC and multipoint support, which can only sweeten the deal even further. And that's my take on the Soundpeats Engine 4. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to leave a comment should you have anything to add or ask. Thanks for watching everyone. Hope to see you all in the next one.